Hey y'all, well, I am dressed and ready for the day. I've got my garden hat on, I've got my sunglasses, and I'm ready to get started. It's a beautiful day outside. It's in the high 80s today, which is pretty warm. It's usually been stabilizing between the high 70s, low 80s, but now it's gonna be really hot today. I'm in the garden shed and I wanted to show you kind of the big disappointment or drawback from this season so far. So if you've been keeping up with any of my previous videos, I started all of my seeds in late January, and I kind of walked you through the process of the soil that I was using and what I was planting. Well, let me turn the camera around and show you kind of what happened. So what you have to understand is that February, I think it was February 15th through the 19th, it was an entire week that our state, the state of Texas, in our zone had gotten unprecedented cold weather, and we had snow, which it's unheard of in South Texas. So we were trying our darndest to get this garden shed to stay warm. I had the heater going nonstop all day for the entire week, and I just could not keep the temperature down. So let me show you kind of what happened as a result of that. All right, so the seedlings kind of have moved around and a lot of different things are going on here. But let me jump down to the bottom two shelves because these are the trays that we started in January. So over here, and let me move my fan that I got out of the way here. These are an entire tray of tomatoes. Remember, I planted these in January. They should be like probably up above this light. So what happened was the extreme cold temperatures actually stunted their growth. They have not died. Their leaves turned kind of purple-ish. I don't know if you can see that. There's some new growth there in the middle, but the leaves on the outside are purple, and they haven't grown. And I've done everything I know how to research on what to do with seedlings that have stunted, and I can't really find anything. So I feel bad. I don't want to like get rid of them because they're still alive and they're trying. I mean, they're putting off these like little new leaves, right? But they're not dying. So they are extremely behind. And these are some of are these tomatoes? Yeah, these are some tomatoes here. These are some bluebonnets Jackson had planted. More tomatoes. Our herbs stunted. All of our peppers down here stunted. These are flowers. They're taking a really long time. I don't know if they've been affected by the cold weather or if it's just how flowers, grow. They're just really slow. These are also, I think, lupins, which is like the blue bonnets. Oh, the dog's gone crazy. But anyway, these have done really well. And down here, these don't look good. These are some herbs. This is like some sweet basil. This is some purple basil. This is some parsley. So it just doesn't look good at all. And I'm just kind of experimenting at this point. I'm keeping them alive, and I'm going to be hardening them off, even though they're really, really small. But they're doing something. So in the meantime, because I don't want to wait for all of this to get to where it needs to be, and I don't even know what the outcome's going to be, and they may not even produce fruit if they do get large enough, I went ahead and started some other seeds, I would say about 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks after. So here's what I've got going on here. This is actually the broccoli that I originally started, and broccoli is cold hardy, so it did really well, and I went ahead and repotted them into larger pots. Back here, wow, this thing really took off. I have a Royal Burgundy bean, the bush bean, so I need to get that in the ground pretty soon because it's taken off. This is spinach, and only one little seedling had sprouted there. What is this? This is a jalapeno pepper. You can see there's a birthday going on right now, coming out. We have some serrano peppers. Nothing has come out yet here. This has been a week. Jalapeno pepper here. What is this? Oh, this is kale. I think this is probably more kale back here. And then this just had a birthday. This is a jalapeno pepper plant. So they're still trying to catch up for the weeks that we're behind. Over here, I planted this 2 weeks ago. These are all of the melons, the cucumbers, and the okra. So we have some Clemson spineless okra right here doing really well. I planted these, or seeded these Mexican sour gherkins. These are the ones that look like tiny little watermelons. And those are for Jackson, and those are doing really well. We've got some sugar baby watermelons. This is a Korean cucumber back here, and more okra. We have the Burpless Beauty cucumbers. This is a slicing cucumber. They look really good. And a pickling cucumber right here. And I guess I didn't plant any. I thought I had some other melons, but I don't see them. Yeah, this is just cucumber. Oh, here it is, cantaloupe. So I have a cantaloupe here too. Up here, I replanted all of the tomatoes and the peppers that I really wanted to have in the garden this year. Some of the peppers haven't come up, but the tomatoes have started to sprout. And you can see how the leaves on these are the same size as the ones down here that I planted in January. And this is only, oh man, is this 2 weeks or 1 week? I think this is only a week old. And see the leaves, see how green, lime green they are? As opposed to this one right here. See, well, you probably can't see it in that one here. See how purplish these look? Look underneath. Not healthy, right? So these tomatoes are starting to sprout, and we have some lettuces here, and it may be late for lettuce, I don't know. Back here, we have a pole bean that is sprouting, a couple of bean bush and pole beans. These are all the Chinese cabbage that I had repotted from the original seedlings to see how they do. We have some kale that is sprouted, and these are repotted cauliflower from January. And then lastly, these are some more tomatoes back here. So a couple of other little various things that are a combination of what I planted or started to plant in January and what I had caught up in the last couple of weeks. So like right here, I still have some more cauliflower that I really need to like get into larger pots and see how they do. Over here, more lettuce, but it's just, these are very stringy, leggy. This is arugula. I just don't think that that's gonna pan out very well. And more tomatoes and peppers. We planted, started so many of the tomatoes and pepper seeds, and it's really disappointing that you did all that work and you put a lot of effort into it, and it's money too, you know, that you invested into these seeds and you got nothing. And so unfortunately, what we've had to do this year to catch up for all the weeks that we've missed out on the seed situation is buy starts. Not ideal because it costs you a lot more money, but it is what it is, right? I don't want to be crippled by perfection to where I don't even try anything at all. So I bought some Bonnie plants. These are bell peppers. This is a red bell pepper. We have a Big Bertha green pepper. These are, I think, all bell peppers. This is a yellow bell pepper and another Big Bertha green bell pepper. And I have some more in the garage. I have lots of tomatoes. We have lots of squash, and we have some cucumbers, cherry tomatoes. One of the cool things, though, I have to say is I didn't really kind of buy all the seeds that I wanted to buy this year. Of course, it wouldn't have panned out anyway, but I wanted to buy some really cool cherry tomato seeds because they have so many different varieties. I mean, there's some variegated looking ones, you know, that are different colors. They have yellow ones. And I was very lucky to have found some really cool cherry tomatoes that are all different colors and stuff this year in the start. So we're going to get those, all this stuff we're going to get into the ground today. So we've got to purchase our trellises and get those up while we're planting the tomatoes and the cucumbers. So we have a lot of work to do. We also want to put the watermelon on the ground. We're thinking about starting corn already because we have a longer growing season and it's been warm, so there's no chance of any type of frost or cold weather. So I don't really know how much of this we're going to get done in one weekend. And we were also even talking about doing a project up front where we have that little empty space in between the front door and the side of the house in the front. We had originally talked about putting a deck, but now we're talking about, for now, just doing like some plants, and I have purchased some climbing roses and doing like a trellis back there, and just having something so it's not completely bare. A lot of work. All right, I'm in the garage right now, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna collect all of the plant starts that we have been purchasing over the course of the last 2 weeks, get them in my little wagon, and then I'm gonna tote them back to the garden so that way they're ready to go and be planted once we start really taken after that project and getting the trellises up and everything. So let me jump in. Hey y'all, okay, so it is not the next day, but the following day. So when I started this video, it was Friday, and right now today, it's Sunday late afternoon. So all day Saturday, I was hoping to capture a video of me doing all the planting and putting up the trellises, but it was so much more work than what I anticipated, and it was such a hot day on Saturday that I had decided to just get it done and knock it out and just show you a quick tour of everything that we actually did on Saturday. So let me turn this around. It's kind of windy. That's why I'm starting it in here to do the intro. But let me turn this camera around and then let's take a look at what all we did on Saturday, which, by the way, it may not seem like a lot, but it was a lot. Okay, hold on.
Let the voiceover begin. Since it's so windy outside, I'll go ahead and talk through this tour. The 2 trellises that we put up are looking really good. We put them up for the tomatoes, for the cucumbers, and for the pole beans. These are little mini greenhouses that are covering our cucumbers. We have several varieties of cucumbers, and we're hoping to kind of protect them from the wind and any pests and help expedite the growth of these little guys. On the other side of the trellis, we did plant 2 okra plants, and they're pretty hardy, so I didn't cover them, but these are the Clemson spineless okra. And then on the other end here, we have 2 pole beans that are going to climb up the trellis. This little plant on the other side here is actually a ground cherry that I stuck in the ground. It's not looking too good, so maybe it'll pull through. In the other bed, our onions are going strong, and I planted all of the bell peppers along the side here, as well as 2 jalapeno peppers. And then on the very end of the peppers, you'll see is a determinate tomato plant right there. On the opposite side of the trellis of that tomato plant is another determinate tomato plant. And then the other plants here are tomatoes as well. We have the lemon boy, we have a pink brandy wine tomato right here, and then we have a purple Cherokee, and then this is a really cool cherry tomato called the purple bumblebee cherry tomato. Very cool. I'm excited about that one. These all along the front here are peppers. Those will be your shishito peppers in the front, and then these are the jalapeno peppers right there. And I popped in another ground cherry on the corner here as well, but this one looks a lot better than the other one does. I can't wait to try these. Over on the third bed, I haven't planted anything above and beyond the onions that are already in there. My hope is as the season progresses, I at least have made some room for other plants to get popped in there. And I'm thinking maybe some cauliflower if it's not too hot, and the broccoli that I've been growing. In the in-ground bed here, I have several different things going on. I have 2 spaghetti squash there. And then all along the side are your summer squash, the yellow straight neck squash. In the back part of the bed here, I planted 3 varieties of sunflowers. We have the mammoth sunflowers, we have 2 cut flowers, a yellow cut flower, and a red cut flower, and there's 2 rows of each of those back there. And the mammoths are in the back part. Over here, I have 3 varieties of corn growing in this corner. Sweet corn, I know, is one of the varieties. I can't remember the other 2 varieties. I put a lot more dirt in the soil so that way it had some moisture retention because it did not like the sand last year. So between the squash and the corn and the sunflowers in the middle, I think it's going to look very pretty with the sunflowers in the backdrop. We're going to walk over to Jackson and Adam's little mini bed here. and we have several things going on. This is another ground cherry. I popped this in the ground before I popped the other two, so this one looks a lot healthier than the other one. We have 2 lupin flowers that we grew from seed. We don't know what color they are just yet. And in this little mini greenhouse is the Mexican gherkin cucumber plants, the ones that look like the mini watermelons. I can't get it to focus, but they're very, very small, and I wanted to protect it, so I put that little greenhouse on top. All along the trellis and in front of the trellis, we have 3 tomatoes. This is a genuine tomato, and I can't see what that one is, and then a lemon boy. And then these are all jalapeno peppers, and then 2 of the banana peppers in the front. Now, right next to it are 4 holes that 1, 2, 3, 4 that we've planted all of our melons. So we have some watermelon, some sugar baby watermelons, as well as the really big ones. I can't think of the variety. Jubilee, that's what it was. The Jubilee watermelon. And then over here we have 2 cantaloupes, and I grew these from seed, and I'm keeping an eye on them because they're kind of weak. And then these are the ones I grew from seed. These are the sugar baby watermelons. I have 3 of them right there. The other 2 holes have the watermelons that I purchased. So these are the seeds, and these are the ones that I purchased from the store. All right, we're going to walk over to the no-dig bed, and the potatoes are looking good. They're pretty sporadic. There's a lot of holes in between, so the other seeds didn't work. And the onions as well are on that side. And they weren't doing very good, so I went ahead and covered them with some hay to give them some moisture lock. But I think that was the issue, is they didn't have any mulch keeping the moisture in, so they were kind of burning their tops. But they're still hanging in there.
Well, thanks for hanging out with me this weekend. It was a lot of work. I'm sorry that I didn't get all of this on video, all the hard back-breaking, knee-busting work that we did. But I did want to at least give you a quick tour of what we accomplished. I am worried. This is the first time that, for many of you who have watched me all along the way, this is our first growing season here at this house. And it's been a lot of hard work, and I'm worried about a couple of things. I'm worried about pests. I think there's a lot of bugs out here. There's a lot of birds out here. We've got I don't know if they're ground squirrels or if they're groundhogs or what they are, but there is something that is tunneling all underneath the ground, and I've already started to see some of the tunnels near the grape plants. So I'm worried about that. The wind is horrific out here. So just so you know that we had a terrible windstorm last night and early this morning. I had just planted yesterday all the baby plants, and then this windstorm came in. I don't know how fast the winds were, but it was awful. It blew a lot of stuff over, and some of the plants did suffer some wind damage. So I'm worried about the weather and the elements and the in-ground situation with the weeds. But you know what? I can't be crippled by fear. I'm just going to have to get after it and try it out. And if it works, fantastic. And if it doesn't work, then bummer. Let's not do that again, right? So I've got a lot of different things going, right? I've got raised beds. I've got in-ground beds. I've started stuff or sowed stuff directly into the ground. I've started stuff in the shed here and then transplanted them. So I feel like this season, if anything, is going to be a really great season for me to learn a lot. And I know probably some of you have seen already some mistakes that I've made along the way, but hey, that's just how I'm gonna figure it out, I suppose. But anyway, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to see another video pop up, and we will see each other again soon.